everybody. Sorry, I've had a couple people ask me about book we're reading right now. So, as promised, I told everybody I'd show everybody. Alright, can everybody see me okay? Sorry if that light's in the way. I think that one's got too much light on it. Give me just a second here. Put it more that way. I'll put it down a little bit further. I'll put it down from the light. There we go. It's not that bright, but if I get my head in it to where I can do it like that. Okay, so as I promised everybody, this is the book we are reading right now, okay? I have my front and forward cameras facing me, so if you can't see it, it says start with why, okay? Now, I'm an insomniac, so me personally, I'm up late at night. It comes from the Marine Corps, it comes from my days in nightclub, it comes from days in business and stuff, to where a lot of things had to be done at night. So, as you can see right here, this is the book that we've been reading. I've already finished it for this month, but I'm going to read it with everybody, and technically a book like this, after you get going with it, it should only be like 2 or 3 days for you to finish it, okay? So if you were to start with 11 pages or even a chapter a day, okay, there are exactly, give me a second here, I'll tell you, 13, so there's 13 chapters, okay? So if something is 13 chapters, and if you later that afterward, you can say 14, okay? So 14 days, so read it in 2 weeks. My suggestion would be reading 11 pages. However, if you read 11 pages in the book, and it's by Simon Sinek, okay? So, let's get started here. It says the introduction. If you start with the introduction, why start with why? Why is my phone being weird? Sorry about that. Sorry about that, everybody. My phone paused for a minute. So, the books that I suggest to you, they are books that have helped me, and I've read a lot of these books over the years. This one I've read a couple times, but I always read books a second or third time, okay? Especially when my team's doing it, because what's nice about books is when you read it on your own instead of listening to, like, book on tape, okay? You're going to read something that will stand out to you. And when you read something that stands out to you, each time you read it, you're going to get something different out of it. As simple as that. I can go back to any book I've read in the past, whether it's from a couple days ago, a couple years ago, or, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And everything's going to be completely different. The characters are going to be a little different because of the way people dress, because of our mindset. That's the reason why you have to read books on your own, so you can get out of it, what you want, and not what somebody's telling you to get out of it. I can give you all the ideas in the world on how to better yourself, but it's all about you and what you take from it. What I do is I put it out there in front of you. Everything I'm teaching, everything that I have learned in my life, it came from books, it came from failure, it came from success, it came from trial and error over and over and over again. And for me to say that I haven't done something, I like to go back and try to do things that I haven't done on multiple levels. And if I can't do it again because maybe I'm too old or because I've outgrown something, that's fine too. But it's funny because a lot of times through our kids we can read those books that we always wanted to read. We have an excuse through our kids sometimes to read different things. So real quick about the book, start, how great leaders inspire everyone to take action, okay, with why. Start with why. And as you can see, our main goal up until June 1st, 2022, is we are starting with why. Now, I did not get that out of this book, okay? I start with why because I have had people question what my why is. Why is why important? And the people that I use in my life and the things that my reasons why are what push me forward. Okay, why did I join the Marine Corps? Why was I in the Army? Why did I open up business on my own? Why did I open up a brick and mortar business? Why did I go into network marketing? Why do I help with legal? Why do I help with identity theft? Why do I, give money to organizations where I never ask anything in return? Why do I help veterans? Why do I try to raise money for suits for people to wear? Why do I help people with their resumes? Why do I help people with their applications? Why do I help people with business plans? Okay, why do I do wills and healthcare power of attorney for anybody in the United States and Canada? Okay, why do I travel all the time? Why do I like going to amusement parks? Why do I ride roller coasters? Why did I jump out of airplanes? You see, there's got to be a reason why we do everything, okay? And in our lives, we forget that life's really short. And even with everything I do, I'm only scratching the scratch of the surface. And I like to be able to take what I learned, and maybe somebody else can get an idea off of what we're doing, or what I'm doing, and have success on your own. It has nothing to do with wanting to make more money. What I have a job to do is I want to make a difference in people's lives. And making a difference in people's lives, you actually do have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice for the greater good. Now, what is the sacrifice? Sometimes if you see somebody, you take them under your belt and you coach them. Sometimes you see somebody with a lot of potential, and it's funny, is even if they do not come away with what you are expecting, they're still teaching you new things. So there's no negatives in helping people or trying to give people what they want. You help enough people get what they want, they'll get what you want. And it's not always about money. It's not always about power. It's not always about fame or fortune and stuff like that. Sometimes, like I said, when I was a kid, I wish I could have became a doctor. And maybe not a doctor, but a scientist. I would have loved to have been a person to fight every single day to find a cure for cancer. Maybe I could have, because like I said, I wasn't able to save my mom, but maybe I could save somebody else. But the problem is, my mind doesn't work that way. I'm not built to be a doctor. As hard as I'd like to try, I can't retain that type of knowledge and those big Latin words, and to me, it's just too much. And so instead, I gotta find something where I can help out, where I can make a difference, okay? Where I can actually learn to live life, Like I said, it's not about what we want, it's about what we need. And every time that you have success, you need something different each time. Right now, you may not need to do certain things, but tomorrow you may need to do those things that you didn't think you needed to do today. Why? Because things change all the time. And that's what I tried to get across to everybody in what we're doing as far as June 1st, which is our deadline date. And it's where I'm creating something, and we're getting ready to go out and do something pretty great. And I'm doing it with the military, I'm doing it with anybody in the United States and Canada, and I'm creating a team. And right now, that team is going to be ready to go by June 1st, 2022. And that's when we're going to start, and that's when we're hitting things hard. Now, I'm on a 90-day run right now for other things I'm doing. But I love what I do when it comes to legal and identity theft, but other people love to do when it comes to trucking. Others like what they do when they come to the military. Some people love what they do when it comes to finance. Some people love that they're an accountant. Some people love that they're in the marketing field. Some people love being a teacher. Some people love being a doctor. Some people love being a nurse. It's all about your love and what you do. I've never had a job because everything I've done, I've loved to do. And to me, it's not a job. It's a passion. Okay? And that's how I work. I work on my passions. I work on what I need to do. And guess what? Through that is how you obtain the things you need, is you work on your passion. The thing about it is, it's not much of a passion if you give up on it all the time. It's not much of, because no matter how much we like something, okay, it still can be very, very frustrating. Putting a puzzle together, and you can't find the right pieces, even though you enjoy putting a puzzle together, but you can't find the pieces, and it's just taking forever. That's frustrating. People like Jeopardy, but they don't always know the answers, and it just bothers them that other people know the answers. It doesn't mean they hate it. It just means that you get stuck on something. Writers get writer's block. They love to write, but when you get writer's block, it's really difficult to figure out, what is going to come next. What comes next in your book? What comes next and what you're going to do? Okay? So, it's not the idea that you get stuck on something. That's going to happen in anything you do. You're not always going to love what you do. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, I'm at a point right now to where things just are not, I'm not happy with doing things. I'm not happy with life. I'm not happy with the way things are turning out. But it's only temporary, because the stuff that you love the most, you'll figure out a way. And then when it's all free and clear, some of the greatest people I've known have been married for 50, 60 years. You ask them, and I always like this little bit of a gag, a little bit of fun. They say it's best, they were married for 50 years. Yeah, it's best 25 years of my life. You've been married for, best 25 years of my life. It's only to set an example that not every day is going to be roses. Not every day is going to be that perfect epitome. But every day you're going to love your spouse. Every day you're going to try to work at whatever it is you're going wrong. Problem solving in a marriage is just part of it. If you ever get a chance, read The 5 Love Languages. It's a great book. But the whole idea is not everything is going to be perfect. You're not always going to like each other. You're not always going to get along. You're not to where you're like, I need to learn to shut up and listen. And I've been like that a lot of times in my life where I need to learn to shut up and listen. And that being said, life is what you make of it. And people that say life's not fair, I had a teacher once tell me that life's not fair. It's funny because I had run-ins with her later on in life, even just a couple years ago. And I hated that she said that because to me life is fair if you're doing what you love to do. Now, challenges and competitions are always fair. You just have to find a way to run the race. The rules are all set the same. You just have to find a way to, maybe you gotta get a little stronger, maybe you gotta get a little faster. But life is fair. You just have to work up to what it is you need, because if you were winning every single day and never lost, you would never know what loss is, and it would be boring. It's no fun. It's like playing Mario Brothers with a game genie, okay? Or, having a cheat code and never having to die. It's not worth playing if there's no consequence. And there's got to be a consequence. When you're running a race, there's always that chance that somebody's going to beat you. There's always that chance that somebody's going to be faster than you. There's always that chance that you're not going to win that race. Your job is to finish, though, each time. Because right now, your competition's looking like you're trying to beat them. You're not. You're trying to finish the race. Your competition's looking like you're trying to beat them. You're not. You're trying to not be last. You're trying not to be second to last. You're not trying to be third to last. And it all boils down to is, when you're doing all that, you're asking yourself one question. Why am I doing this? And if you have a good reason why, then nothing can stop you. Nothing can keep you from the race. You may not win every time, but every time you're in that race and that why is strong enough, you will give it everything you got, like your life depends on it. Because you got to make it about something greater than yourself. Your reason why has to be greater than who you are. Belief in self is one thing, that's fine, but that's not your reason why. Belief in self is just a small fraction of what the overall equation is. And the biggest equation is you find your reason why. You figure out what you got to do. You have your belief system. You get your what. Okay, what am I going to do now? And then you write it all down, and then you execute. And you keep doing that over and over and over again. And pretty soon you'll realize that you matter, you're important. And I have no clue why my phone keeps doing that. No, it's because somebody knows I'm on here, and they're trying to call me, seeing that I'm on live right now. And they try to call me, not realizing that. So, people, if you know I'm live, why would you try to call me in the middle of a live feed? I don't get that. Anyway, it's not a big deal. I just learn to ignore them. And a lot of times when people call me and they know I'm live, I do block them. I know. Because it's disrespectful to call somebody during a live feed. Now, if you put a question in the comments, I'll answer the question and I'll say hi to you. So if you put your name in the comment, that stuff I can converse back and forth with. But when you try to call me, you shut down my system altogether to where it causes people to be turned off, or they lose my live feed because you are not respecting everybody else that's watching it. So please have respect for everybody else that's watching it. So we're trying to it may not be something that somebody on here may be having a hard time, and they may need somebody to talk to. They need some advice. So remember this. It's the why, and the power of why. Introduction. Yada yada. Part 1, a world that doesn't start with why. And I'll read the first page to you. And if you guys want me to read it starting, say, Monday, I'll go ahead and start reading it again if you guys want to know about it. But I also want you guys to go out and to go to the library and get one of the books, or go and buy the book, or, I don't sell them. But I can read it to you. But you've got to learn to read the stuff. I read it to you on here because it's better than nothing at all, right? So, we'll just read the first page. Assume you know. Chapter 1. On a cold January day, a 43-year-old man was sworn in as the chief executive of his country. By his side stood his predecessor, a famous general who, 15 years earlier, had commanded his nation's armed forces in a war that resulted in the defeat of Germany. The young leader was raised in the Roman Catholic faith. He spent the next 5 hours watching parades in his honor and stayed up celebrating until 3 o'clock in the morning. You know who I am describing, right? It's January 30th, 1933. and I'm describing Adolf Hitler, and not, as most people would assume, John F. Kennedy. The point is, we make assumptions. We make assumptions about the world around us based on sometimes incomplete or false information. In this case, the information I offered was incomplete. Many of you were convinced that I was describing John F. Kennedy until I added one minor little detail, the date. This is important because our behavior is affected by our assumptions or our perceived truths. We make decisions based on what we think we know. It wasn't too long ago that the majority of people believed the world was flat. This perceived truth impacted behavior. During this period, there was very little exploration. People feared that if they traveled too far, they might fall off the edge of the earth. So far, for the most part, they stayed put. It wasn't until that minor detail was revealed, the world is round, that behaviors changed on a mass scale. Upon this discovery, societies began to traverse the planet. Trade routes were established. Spices were traded. New ideas, like mathematics, were shared between societies, which unleashed all kinds of innovations and advancements. The correction of a simple false assumption moved the human race forward. Now consider how organizations are formed and how decisions are made. Do we really know why some organizations succeed and why others don't? Or do we just assume? No matter your definition of success, hitting a target, stock price, market, making a certain amount of money, meeting a revenue or profit goal, getting a big promotion, starting your own company, feeding the poor, winning the public office. How we go about achieving our goals is very simple. Some of us just wing it. But most of us try to at least gather some data so we can make educated decisions. Sometimes this gathering process is formal, like conducting polls or market research, and sometimes it's informal, like asking our friends and colleagues for advice or looking back on our own personal experience to provide some perspective. Regardless of the process or the goals, we all want to make educated decisions. More importantly, we all want to make the right decisions. As we all know, however, not all decisions work out to be the right ones, regardless of the amount of data we collect. Sometimes the impact of those wrong decisions is minor, and sometimes it can be catastrophic. Whatever the result, we make the decision based on perception of the world that may not, in fact, be complete accurate, just as so many were certain that I was describing John F. Kennedy at the beginning of this section. You were certain you were right. You might even have bet money on it, a behavior based on an assumption. Certain, that is, until I offered a little detail of the date. Alright, now, we're still on chapter 1. I just want to give you a quick reading of what we're doing, but start with why, because I know some people have questioned it, okay? So that you know this is what we're, I've already read it, but I'll read it again to everybody. If you guys want me to read it to you guys, I will. James Carlson. I don't know what you mean, James, when you said wrong, but okay. Darren, how you doing? Dan, Cheryl, Thomas, how's it going? Shelby, how you doing? Jessica, hey. Thomas, hey. Shelly, hey. Who else is on? How you doing, everybody? Alright. Alright. So, for all of you out there tonight, God bless. Hope you're all having a great evening. I just wanted to show you that real quick because, like I said, I'm reading 2 other books right now also, but I can read that one to every one of you guys. I take away a lot from it, so it's a very important book. So, if you guys ever need anything, to all my military brothers and sisters out there, if you ever need anybody to talk to, hey, you're more than welcome to call me. I am up at nighttime, so if you guys just need somebody to talk to, hey, give me a call. For all my trucking friends out there, go ahead. For all my Marine Corps brothers out there, Semper Fi, to all the soldiers, sailors, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, you guys all matter. Each and every one of you are important. I just want each and every one of you to know you're important. Yeah, Mike, I'm on 2 different ones, and you're on both of them right now. I hope you guys are all having a great evening. Semper Fi, Devil Dogs, to the Army, hoorah, whatever you guys say. Marine Corps hoorah. It talks about an old submarine that used to give out a warning call. That's what hoorah sounds like. So, for everybody else, God bless. Hope you all having a great evening. And like I said, have a great weekend. And we got a lot to work on before January 1st because every one of you guys has a project you're doing. Every one of you has some goals that you're going to set for yourself. Each and every one of you need to come up with your reason why you want to do things. Me, I want to help out more military. I want to help out more truck drivers. I want to help out more people with sure that moms and dads know their heroes. I want to make sure military knows that they are the greatest military that's ever been around, and each one of them makes up that greatness. I want all the nurses and doctors and firefighters and police officers to know that they matter, and they are very, very important. All the school teachers know that they're important. And that being said, all the factory workers, you guys are the heart of America. You guys are the heart of Canada. We actually keep things running. So, that being said, I'm Jeffrey Jansen. Hope you all having a great night. Make sure to go back to the video I did earlier. It's all online. It's all online right now, so you guys can watch what we went over earlier. Make sure you go over what we went over yesterday, which was belief. Today we went over writing. Yesterday we went over belief. The day before that we went over what? W-H-A-T. And the day before that we started out with why. So, yes, these are different things for different projects. So, anyway, hope you're all having a great evening.